WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Developing tonight, the man accused of shooting and killing a Simpson County deputy has been captured. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Cash Matlock. WLBT reports Joaquin Stephen Blackwell is accused of shooting 77-year-old deputy James Blair Friday afternoon. Blair was flown to a Jackson area hospital but later died. Executive Director of Region 8 Mental Health Services Dave Van says Blackwell was at the facility for an involuntary psychiatric evaluation. In the transportation of the suspect, Blackwell obtained a gun and allegedly shot the deputy and escaped into the woods. Now, according to a neighbor, Blair had been in law enforcement his entire life, and this included working as a paramedic and a school resource officer. He was still working due to the fact that he was raising his grandsons, whose mother had passed away. He leaves behind a wife as well. Tupelo police are searching for two suspects after an afternoon shooting leaves one man injured. It happened near the Scottish Inn near Blair Street in North Gloucester around 3:45 Friday afternoon. Tupelo police say the suspects reportedly got into a cab, eventually getting out and running off near East Main and Canal Street. A police K-9 unit searched the area of Canal Street, but so far the suspects haven't been found. And the extent of the victim's injuries is unknown at the time. The cab driver says everything happened so fast.
I picked up some folks at Dollar General and was taken to Plantersville, and I got a call to stop. And when I stopped, they jumped out. And the police come up, had the sirens going, and I pointed towards the way they went, and they went after them.
Once police get an accurate description of the suspects, they will release that information. A Columbus man dies in an early afternoon car crash. Coroner Greg Merchant says the accident happened on Maple Street. The victim was traveling west when he lost control and left the road, striking a concrete bumper and a tree. The car flipped and the driver was ejected. The victim was pronounced dead on the scene. The coroner will release the victim's identity once all of his family has been notified. While most of the focus during the COVID-19 pandemic has been on physical health, Mississippi health professionals are now beginning to take a look at the mental toll of 3 months of shutdowns and lockdowns. Courtney Ann Jackson explains how the state is making resources available.
The new normal of COVID-19 is taking more than just a public health and economic toll.
We cannot pretend that everyone is doing just okay.
The Mississippi Department of Mental Health created mentalhealthms.com back in March to make it easier to find resources for those who need them.
Sometimes we always want to make sure that everyone around us is okay, and we forget about taking care of ourselves. But if your feelings start to impact your ability to function each day, we want you to know that you are not alone and that help is available.
The department believes several factors are contributing to the increase in a need for services.
Stress during an outbreak like this can include fear or worry about your health, fear or worry about the health of your loved ones, anxiety from loss of employment. It can be changes in your eating or sleeping habits. Maybe you're sleeping too much or you're not getting enough sleep.
There was a 40% increase in calls to the DMH helpline from February to April. That was to find resources. And also an uptick in those who were losing hope.
About a 20% increase in Mississippi calls to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. So we want to make sure that everyone knows that that resource is available.
Governor Reeves making clear to folks that they aren't alone.
Do not give up on life. Even if you do not feel it today, you are valued, you are loved, you are needed.
Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
Bright blue sky here in downtown Louisville, Mississippi on our Saturday afternoon. We are going into the evening on a very warm note. Highs topping out around 90 degrees today. We have a few clouds in the Columbus area, but more bark than anything else. We have no bite there, no rain, and we will have a great evening here in Columbus and everywhere else. Widespread 80s now, and our planner for Columbus down into the 70s this evening. Lower 70s by 11 o'clock, and our lows tonight somewhere down into the mid to low 60s. Right now, these are the current numbers: 87 in Columbus, 86 for you in Tupelo and Winona and Starkville, 90 in West Point, 91 in Houston. Just a few fair weather clouds out there. Those will be going away this evening. So pretty quiet tonight. Lows down into the 60s. We will stay warm and pretty dry going forward. Your full forecast is coming up.
All right, thanks, Keith. Well, on to national news now. President Trump highlighted diversity and emphasized unity in his commencement address to West Point's graduating class today. Now, the speech comes as Americans across the country are protesting for an end to police brutality, and the president faces criticism for his response. CBS News correspondent Michael George has more from New York.
What has historically made America unique is the durability of its institutions against the passions and prejudices of the moment.
In his speech to more than 1,100 West Point graduates, President Trump did not directly mention the protests that have swept the nation.
When times are turbulent, when the road is rough, what matters most is that which is permanent, timeless, enduring, and eternal.
The president celebrated the diversity of the class of 2020 at the historic U.S. Military Academy, about 40 miles north of New York City.
You have come from the farms and the cities, from states big and small, and from every race, religion, color, and creed.
The president thanked the National Guard for its work during the protests. Earlier this month, the commander-in-chief rankled military leaders when he threatened to deploy U.S. troops to American cities to quell unrest after George Floyd died under the knee of a Minneapolis police officer. And Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Mark Milley expressed regret for accompanying President Trump to St. John's Church after peaceful protesters were cleared from the area.
My presence in that moment and in that environment created a perception of the military involved in domestic politics.
While protesters chanted outside West Point, the president saluted as cadets' names were read aloud. Coronavirus precautions meant family and friends had to watch online.
God bless America. Congratulations.
After the ceremony, cadets who were seated 6 feet apart tossed their hats into the air and hugged. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
West Point graduating class members were tested for coronavirus when they returned to campus in late May. More than 15 were isolated for 2 weeks after testing positive. Well, back here locally, the Mississippi Department of Health reports 257 new cases of COVID-19 with 8 new deaths. Now, there's one new reported case within long-term care facilities. Since March 11th, there have been more than 19,000 cases with 889 total deaths. More than 13,000 Mississippians are presumed to have recovered from the virus. The coronavirus hotline is still the best way to get your questions about COVID-19 answered. You can call 877-978-6453 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Octobaha County Emergency Management gives out masks at 7 different locations today. EMA Director Kristen Campanella says people received the free face coverings from 8 a.m. until noon. She says the county gave out over 6,000 coverings, and each of the 5 county fire stations had about 2,500 masks each. Now, there's not an exact count on how many coverings remain after today. Work is underway on an expansion of the Bancorp South Conference Center. The expansion will expand the center and include an atrium along with the tower joining the arena and the conference center. There will also be a VIP lounge area that can be used by the conference center and the arena. Now, Executive Director Todd Hunt says the addition will provide more opportunities for guests that are usually found in arenas in larger cities.
We've built out a club space that's going to hold about 200 people. That'll be a private reception space that people can purchase a ticket for when we're doing events. It can also be rented out for parties and receptions and that kind of thing as well. So yeah, that will come online in October, and we're really excited to have that new piece of the puzzle that we've never had before.
The entire project should be complete by January. Total cost for the project is right at $15 million. A wedding anniversary with a twist. We've got a unique story cruising your way after the break. Stay with us.
You're watching WCBI News at 6 p.m. with Cash Matlock.
Welcome back, everyone. Wedding anniversaries are always a reason to celebrate, and for one Tupelo couple, that celebration is taken to the open road. WCBI's Allie Martin has more on the artful and unique way the wife is marking the occasion. Take a look.
You can't miss this Toyota Scion as it drives down the road. Cecilia Palmer, a lifelong Tupelo resident, decorates it every month with a different theme. This month, it's decorated in honor of her and her husband's 57th wedding anniversary.
This month is my favorite month because I've got hearts on my car, and it says, just married 57 years ago.
Cecilia Palmer decorates her car every month with a different theme for a holiday or special occasion. This month, Cecilia and her husband, Buddy, who is also a Tupelo City Councilman, celebrate 57 years of marriage. Mrs. Palmer has the car decorated with magnets and other goodies. The Palmers have raised 2 sons, helped run the family's grocery business, and been involved in their community and church throughout the years. They both say there are key ingredients to a long, fruitful, and happy marriage.
A marriage requires that God be in your marriage, and that's what we've tried to do down through the years is have a godly home. And he is a godly man, and I'm proud to say that. And then second, I would say, like Buddy said, a sense of humor.
In most cases, Cecilia and I have fun. We laugh together, in most cases. Sometimes it's not like that, but we have fun. We don't take each other too serious.
Buddy and Cecilia are settled into what they call their routine. She does the yard work in the front yard. He has the backyard duties. They stay home most evenings when there's not a city or church function. So the recent shelter-in-place orders associated with COVID-19 didn't change things much at the Palmer household.
We've been sheltering in place for 57 years now, so it's just the fact that if you're told to stay at home, you don't want to stay at home.
But on those occasions when Cecilia goes to the store or runs an errand, she spreads joy with her automobile art. But that's not always the case for the city councilman.
I consider it a ministry. If I can ride down the street and somebody wave at me and thumbs up, I like your car, or whatever, if I could bring a smile to somebody's face, then that's really my intention.
Sometimes that doesn't happen for me as a Tupelo City Councilman. You know, I go down the road, sometimes I get a thumbs down or doing this or all of that stuff, but not really. I enjoy being a councilman.
The Palmers don't have big plans for their wedding anniversary. They'll probably stay home, watch some TV, and they may go for a drive. If you see them, be sure and give them a big thumbs up. In Tupelo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
The big anniversary date for Buddy and Cecilia is June 30th. Well, school has been out for a really long time now, and you may be running out of ideas to keep the kids entertained. Today on Mom to Mom, a unique way to keep the kids busy and get some work done around the house. Take a look.
Today on Mom to Mom, we're going to show you a fun little trick to get your kiddos to do some work around the house. When your kids are old enough to come to you and ask for money, they're old enough to earn it, right? That's why the jar of opportunities has come in so much handy around our house. Basically, all it is are popsicle sticks with fun little chores to do around the house and how much they can actually make. All you need to do is write a chore that you want done around the house. We do this weekly and of course daily. So they get to pull one stick out a day. It tells you how much money they earn on it for that day. Once they completed it, you can either stick it in another mason jar or you can put it in a drawer until the following week. My son, who is a middle schooler, loves this because he can earn money for those video games, or recently they've been wanting to buy those Christmas presents for his sister. This concept will also work well for date nights or one-on-one time. I mean, how many times have you been trying to go on a date and you're like, where do you want to go eat? Where do you want to go eat? And it becomes a big old fight. Well, the sticks will do the job for you. All you have to do is pull one out and it tells you exactly where to go. Same with the one-on-one time. Each kid, depending on how many you have, deserves that one-on-one time with each parent. So it's a really fun way to pull out a stick and it just tell you where you can go to do something really fun. As always, moms, we would love to hear your creative ways at getting your kids to do things around the house. Feel free to post those to our Facebook page, and we'll see you on the next Mom to Mom.
Low 80s in Gulfport, Mississippi. Our WXXV cam, our sister station down there, showing the water, but just north of that camera site, there are a few showers and storms down there. For us locally, rain chances slim to none for the next 7. We'll show you that forecast.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
A great start to the weekend. Tons of sunshine today. Very warm, quite dry though. Let's check out our Alpha Insurance camera network across the region. Columbus, a little bit of cloud cover there, 90 degrees. Tupelo, 86. Vernon, a few clouds there at Durham's Pharmacy, 87. Louisville, Mississippi, as we mentioned earlier, 89 degrees and sunny. If you're heading out to the lake tomorrow, just a slight chance, I mean the slightest of chances for a stray shower. In general, mostly sunny to partly cloudy. A warm day. Pack the sunscreen. Upper 80s to around 90 with a northeast wind at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Temperatures across the deep south right now range from the low 80s in Atlanta to the upper 80s in Memphis and Jackson. Now, this is the actual temperature. We will throw on the heat index, and the numbers really don't change too much. So the air is pretty dry right now, and that's certainly good news. Earlier this week, we had the heat index well into the low 100s with all of that tropical moisture in the wake of that tropical system. But right now the air is pretty dry, and it will remain that way for a while. Because of the dry air, not really a lot of cloud cover in the region today. We've been basically sunny. There have been some clouds, and there's actually a little batch of thunder showers up here in northeastern Arkansas. You can see that just to the west of Memphis, some of these moving to the southwest, so those will not be affecting us. But that just tells you we can never rule out an isolated shower or storm during the summertime season, even with some really dry air in place. But in the big picture, we don't really foresee a lot going on anytime soon. So for tonight, mostly clear. Comfortable and quiet, low 60s, maybe a shot at the upper 50s in some of those low-lying spots, but most spots stay in the lower 60s. Our planner for your Sunday, by 10 o'clock, mostly sunny, already at 80 degrees. By 1 o'clock, 88 degrees, pushing 90 degrees by early afternoon, a mix of sunny clouds during the day. Fire up the barbecue grill again into the low to mid 80s early in the evening. So it will be another warm one out there. Let's check it out city by city. Partly cloudy, 90 for you in Louisville, 91 in Macon. For you in Vernon and Sullivan, 89 degrees or 90. And for you in Tupelo and Fulton, upper 80s to around 90. Bruce, 88. Houston also at 88 degrees. Our planner for you in Oxford, well, not too bad at all. We start out in the 60s. Where are you, planner? There you go. 60s back into the 80s as we go throughout the course of the afternoon. So our hour-by-hour forecast here, I think we're going to get it to show you that we will see some clouds thin out tonight, mostly clear to partly cloudy tomorrow morning. And we are looking at highs once again well into the upper 80s to around 90 during the course of the day. As I mentioned, we can't rule out a stray shower tomorrow or Monday. There's a weak front actually coming on in here, but I think behind it, slightly cooler Monday and Tuesday, mid to upper 80s, lower 90s by the end of the week. That humidity factor, Cash, is going to come back by Thursday and Friday and next weekend. So right now it's sunny, warm, and dry. Next weekend, it will be sunny, warm, and probably more humid. So just really savor the nice weather while we have it.
I'll tell you what, Keith, I really have missed the summer sunshine, but I have not missed that Mississippi heat.
No.
Miserable.
It was pretty miserable earlier this week, but right now it's pretty good.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, thank you, Keith. Well, local sports are back in action for one community. We've got more on that story coming up. After a long period of shutdown, the sports fields around the city of Tupelo are alive with activity this weekend. WCBI's Chad Groening has more.
The softball complex on Veterans Boulevard is humming as area teams are finally able to play. And the nearby Tupelo Aquatic Center is hosting the Fitter and Faster Comprehensive Breaststroke Racing Camp. But the vast Bank Plus Sportsplex at Ballard Park is where the bulk of the action is this weekend, hosting both soccer and youth baseball. Tupelo Parks and Recreation Director Alex Farnett says there are about 200 teams participating this weekend.
We're just so excited to have everybody back into Tupelo, everybody coming in. We're taking every measures to be safe here and for everybody's safety at all these events, and just really excited to have people back in the city and kind of boosting our economic impact for the city.
And Farnett says it is great to be outside.
Everybody who's been cooped up and inside, you know, we're now able to have organized events, and so this is just a way to get everybody out. It's a beautiful weekend, and just excited that everybody's here.
Sadly, the coronavirus wiped out the high school and college baseball seasons this year, and it's unclear whether there'll be any kind of a shortened Major League season. But baseball is alive and well this weekend in Tupelo. The Stop Wishing Start Doing United States Specialty Sports Association baseball tournament features more than 80 teams. Mark Brazee is coach of the Tupelo Rangers. He says it's great to be back on the field.
We really missed the boys when we were kind of unable to practice, and these guys are just so excited to get back out on the field. We're excited to get out there and coach them. We played a tournament last week in Oxford, and just being out there with them on the field and all the parents, the coaches, it's just good to see these boys outside and together again.
We're super excited. I mean, it was hard being locked up for several months, so we're glad to be back out here, and we're taking the proper precautions, trying to at least, and we're just excited to be able to be together again and to play and to see all these people and beautiful weather and getting to enjoy it, so we're excited.
I mean, as a mom, you know, you just want your kids to be active and be with their friends, and he loves playing baseball and just couldn't wait to get started again, so it was hard not to be able to be playing games like we're used to, so this has been great to be back out.
Chad Groening, WCBI News, Tupelo.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Keith is going to have a final look at weather.
No big changes here. Pretty warm, pretty dry, slightly cooler, I guess. Monday and Tuesday, we were mid to upper 80s, Cash, but the same song and dance continues.
Gosh, thank you, Keith. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you back here at 10 o'clock.